everyone, welcome back to Shop Life. I think this video is well overdue. My last shop tour was when we were first moving in. It's been almost exactly 2 years since we moved into this shop, so I think it's a good time to show you guys what the shop looks like now. If you guys don't follow the vlogs, which is at Shop Life Vlogs, you guys probably don't see the shop that often, so let me go ahead and show you guys all around. We just had a meet here not too long ago, so we did clean up and organize the shop a little bit, so I feel like it's a great time to show everything off while I can before it gets all messy again. But anyways, let's start off at the entrance pretty much. So here's the door. Obviously, there's only one shop door in this unit. This is probably one of the smallest shops I've had. This is my third shop. My first shop had 3 bays. I did have a lift in that one, but I wasn't there for too long. That was like my senior year of high school, so I was only there for like 11 months before I moved on to college, which is about 3 hours away in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I had my second shop there. So I was at that shop for about 2 years. That shop, I had like 4 acres of land. It was almost like 4,000 square feet. That's where most of my beginning videos for this channel were made. So if you guys want to see what that shop looked like, make sure you go check out my few early videos. But anyways, so that shop did not have a lift, and I wasn't really doing much customer cars. I was doing mostly parting out, which is actually a lot more involved than you would think. And that's where a lift would actually help out, because you can, just strip everything while it's on the lift. But in this shop, I made sure to get, a lift before I started working on customer cars. So we had the first lift in the back, which when I first moved out here and started the videos, that's probably all you guys saw. Then we had the second lift installed at the beginning of this year, and it pretty much doubled my production. It actually does make a huge difference. And I know a lot of people ask me what are like some of the most basic necessary tools that you need when you're opening up a shop. So if you're opening up a shop to work on customer cars, and depending on what you plan on doing, so if you're doing suspensions, engine transplants and stuff like that, you definitely want to have a lift. It makes the jobs a lot quicker. Obviously you don't need to use a lift on everything. When I used to have my old shop, I didn't even have a lift, and I was still parting out all the cars and doing all that. But it does make it a lot easier to have a lift. So moving on, still at the front of the shop, there's the office door. That's where we do all the editing and stuff like that. So there's not really much else in it, and that's Fluffy's pretty much playground right there. Whenever we're at the shop, he's always with us, and that's his domain right there. But we also have this little mezzanine area on the top where we have a bunch of our spare parts. As you guys know, when I was back in North Carolina, I was parting out a lot of stuff. So we brought a lot of parts with us, and I go through them time to time for customers, for our own cars. So that's what we store all up there. Then we've got, obviously fire extinguisher for safety reasons. We've got this big fan for whenever it starts getting hot over here. This fan does move quite a bit of air, but since this unit is just so deep that in the back it always stays hot. So we probably need like a porta-cool or something, but that's probably for next summer. We'll do that. We've got the air compressor, we've got the vacuum, the pressure washer, and all that over there for whenever we're detailing cars. But let's keep on going back. So right here we've got my Hot Wheels collection. Not only Hot Wheels, there's a bunch of Matchbox cars and stuff like that as well. And this is probably not even a quarter of the collection. I would like to say I started collecting these when I was a little kid, but it was probably more along when I was a teenager. And when I actually, start making some money, I was able to, buy stuff that I liked. Before, when I was a kid, I used to play with cars too, but those were coming in a cereal box. But as you can see, I've moved on to bigger and better things, $1 Hot Wheel cars now. And this is probably one of the most...
They're not all $1, hold up.
Okay, so some of them are more expensive. This one right here is actually my girlfriend's car. Her brother gave it to her for, what was it, Christmas, I believe? Or your birthday or something? But yeah, so that's probably one of the most expensive ones that we have. And that's pretty much where we put all the customer car keys. It locks up and stuff like that. We've got a little alarm system and all that in here as well. Now right here is pretty much the whole diagnostics, electronics, equipment stuff. We keep all the batteries for the cameras right here. All the chargers are right here. We've got the laptop with all the software on it for BMWs, Mercedes, Volkswagen, all of that. Right now I've got the BMW input cable out right now. And I also keep like my spare batteries for diagnosing purposes, and also a little battery charger right there. And I don't know, a lot of people have asked me when they came to the meet about this simulator. So I bought this simulator off of somebody. It was a hell of a deal. It was like $100. It was only with the seat and the frame. I already had the pedals, I already had the shifter, So eventually I do want to hook it up and have it somewhere over here. So whenever customers are here or whenever there's a meet or whenever I feel like taking a break, I can sit there and, you know, play on a simulator. But that'll be a project for another day. Now we've got these two little classic toolboxes. This just has all like glue. It has all the other electronics, like all the scanners, some wiring and stuff like that. Got like the multimeter, some thick gauge wires, thin gauge wire. We've got some soldering, electrical tape, and all that. So this is pretty much just all the electronics department. And now this is one of the posters this is actually an original poster from October 26 to 30, 1992. And it's just, you know, good to have some wall art around. We also have that banner up there. We ideally want to put more banners across the top. Like you can see, we've got that one sign for the shop up there as well as an extra that we had made. But eventually I'll try to have more banners across the walls and just, you know, fill up the whole area. But let's go back to the other corner of the shop where there's some more Hot Wheels and stuff. So right here we have a waiting area which usually doesn't get utilized. Like I said, most of my customers are all appointment based, so they're usually just drop the car off and they're heading out. And usually most of the cars stay here for a couple days depending on the job. So this just gets used if there's friends visiting or something like that. They'll sit there for a little bit. Besides that, now here we have this little display. My girlfriend actually made most of this stuff right here. I'm not that creative as you guys probably assumed, but she put all those license plates on there. I did have a few, few things that I had to say in order to get it the way I wanted. So this pegboard was kind of my idea. So some of this stuff was actually gifted to us, like these two license plates, this car right here, also these cars, and then the Wyoming plates were also gifted to us. The funny thing is, so the guy that actually gifted us these Wyoming plates, he actually came to the meet all the way from Wyoming, which is, I mean, that is really crazy. That's like almost a 1,500 mile journey, which is ridiculous. But that is, I mean, that's awesome. I'm so happy that he was able to come all the way down here. Now we also got all of these original ads. As you guys know, we love the E46s, so we've got, most of them are E46s, but we do have this E70 X5. We also have an E30 M3 in there, and we also have the E46 wagon. But yeah, these are all original advertisements, so they're all like from a magazine, I believe, but we've got them all framed up so they don't start turning yellow. So these lamps are actually functional. They're out of an old jack stand, and the jack stands were actually gifted to us too by a customer, which we have used these lamps in a video before. So if you guys know which video we used it in, make sure you leave a comment down below. And we obviously have to have the NC State basketball up there. And we've got some old gasoline cans and more cars. So these are like the bigger cars, obviously. We've got M4. Comment down below if you know where this M4 is from. It's been in one of the vlogs or videos before as well. Then we've got some one-of-a-kind art as well. Okay, it might not be one-of-a-kind, but there's some art. And then we've got some sandpaper. Don't know what that's doing there. So moving on, in these drawers we usually keep our gloves and stuff. The idea was to put all of our merchandise, all our shirts and stuff, but once we restock those, we'll have those in here. But for right now, we just have gloves. And we usually get all of our gloves from like a nail supply store. They're a lot cheaper and they're disposable. They're like $3 for a whole box compared to anywhere else where you'll get the same gloves for around $7 to $8. And we also keep like some of our fluids and spray cans, like brake cleaner. We've got some silicone spray, some PB Blaster, some B12. A lot of people asked me about this on my vlog channel when I had used it on the road trip. So this is the stuff that I use for fuel injector cleaner. This stuff is very concentrated and actually does do some work. Obviously it's not going to solve anything major, but it does work, and you can also find this at Walmart now. Now we've got a little paper towel holder, we got some spark plugs, hose clamps, some terminals, and then we also have some fluids. So we've got some 10W60 for the M's, and we got some 5W30 for all other ones. And we've got some Redline differential fluid. Now up here we have some more Hot Wheels stuff and some old liquid wrench. There's nothing in here, but it's a cool container. Same with this gas container. This was actually gifted to us by my neighbor, actually. And now here's a toolbox. I actually have a video on this as well when I reviewed it. This is the first ever toolbox I bought, and I still use it to this day. I try to keep, like, stuff that I don't use as often in here. So like, you know, extra sockets, extra wrenches, extra screwdrivers, all that stuff stays in here. Now we also have our oil drain container. This is very handy when you have a lift. You can just raise this up and down to actually get all the fluids and catch them. I actually got that from Harbor Freight, like most of my tools. I know a lot of people like to talk shit about Harbor Freight, but for me, it works really well. As long as you take care of your stuff, I mean, it's not gonna break. Obviously, there are some tools that you do have to get, like brand name, like specialty tools, like, you know, timing stuff, ball joint removers and stuff like that. You do want to get quality stuff. But Harbor Freight, like hand tools and stuff, as long as you're taking care of them, they usually don't go bad. And if they do, they have a lifetime warranty on them. So it's still a win-win situation when you can buy a $100 Snap-on socket set, or you can buy a $10 Harbor Freight socket set and get 10 of them. So it's a no-brainer for me. Now we've got another fire extinguisher, and then now we've got all of our detailing supplies, as well as all of the fluids that I use on a daily basis. So like we've got some oil for the non-M's, and we've got some oil for the M's, and we've got some coolant, and then we've got some transmission fluid and brake fluid as well. Now as far as detailing goes, I've got some, you know, this is the wash and wax that I put in my foam gun. Obviously, a lot of people like to put more of a Sudsy soap in their foam gun, but for me this does the job well. And this is the gold class that goes in the buckets. And we've got all the 303 stuff right here. I love to use the 303 stuff. It works really well. And we've got just like some turtle wax stuff that I had previously. We've got some clay bar back there and some polishes. So we've got some M105, M205, some ultimate compound as well. So all that stuff is for when I use it with the buffer to polish up the cars. Now we've got my creeper. So this creeper has seen a lot of work. But I still keep it. Sometimes I do have to work on the ground still. There's a car on the lift that needs parts. Sometimes I just have to get underneath and start working on them. So I still keep that around, just makes it a little bit easier. Got all of our cleaning supplies for the shop, brooms and whatnot. And now we've got some more overstock of parts. So this is like, we've got a radiator for an E46 up here. We've got some rear shocks that came on a coilover kit. We've got some silicone hoses, a steering coupler, expansion tank. You get the point. Pretty much all overstock items. And we've got some used items for like radiators and stuff. So like if I'm working on something in the middle of the night and it's like an emergency situation, try to keep at least some of those things on hand just in case, you never know. And we actually do have this Alpine stereo that came out of one of the parts cars. It's actually a really nice Alpine unit. If anybody is interested, let me know. I've got the harness, everything works on it. Make sure you just message me on Instagram if you guys are interested in that. Now we got some more items. This is all from the LS swap. We've got the Camaro cover. We've got an extra muffler that we have. And we also have some Volkswagen and Audi transmission fluid for the DCT transmissions. And we also have some more fluids over here, distilled water for the cooling systems, some grease, CHF11S for SMG fluid, hydraulic fluid, transmission fluid. We've got automatic and manual. But yeah, then we also have some GM coolant, the AC Delco stuff. But moving on, now this is probably the most important part of the shop, especially if you're working late nights. A nice stereo system. We've got all these speakers wired up to this LG unit. It's Bluetooth, so I can listen to everything, and whenever somebody calls, it'd be quiet so I can actually hear that someone's calling me.
It what?
Whatever. Now we still have some more extra parts, so damn, that thing is really magnetic. So we've got little magnetic drain bolts, we've got some tensioners, some rear main seals, O-rings, and copper crush washers and stuff like that. And right here is where I charged all my power tools and a few more extra items like the fan and the condenser and all that. So now we've got the spring compressor that makes changing out springs and lowering springs and all that. Makes it a lot easier to do with this, and it's a lot safer as well. Now we've got some wheels and tires. These are all different sets from Infinitis, BMWs and stuff. Like I said, I used to part out cars, so I brought some of those with me. Obviously they haven't sold yet, I haven't even put them up, but eventually if someone does come around and needs them, I've got them for sale. Now you're gonna really see all the E46 collection that we have. This is a bunch of parts from the E46s. We've got like cup holders and all that stuff. And then moving on, we've got some power tools right here, and we also have all the specialty tools on the bottom shelf. Obviously I don't use these that much, so I've got all of them on the bottom. Whenever I need them, I know where they're at. We've got a whole M3 rear end right here that's supposed to go in the wagon hopefully soon. We've got a whole box of wires. This was very helpful during the LS swap. You know, I can just come in here and strip out whatever connectors I needed. And then now we've got some like paint stuff. We've got like some vacuum pumps as well for testing AC systems when I used to do that. We got some walnut shells for the N54 motors to blast those out. The blaster's somewhere in there as well. And now we've got some more wheels and tires. We've got the pull jack, we've got a transmission jack for the lift, the engine hoist back there. Now this is usually the fluids cart, so whenever I'm doing any type of fluid work like transmission fluid and stuff, this is the cart that has, you know, all the pumps and all that on it, as well as a little drain pan for whatever spills. We've got a little Harbor Freight press right there as well. It's a 12-ton press, but it's more than enough for me. It gets all the jobs done for all the wheel bearings, any bushings and all that as well. We've got some tires. These tires actually belong to these works that were on my car previously. They will be mounted back up. I'm debating on changing the lip to like a polished lip. And we've got some more, these are actually empty tires. And then we've got another set of wheels and tires. This is from like a Camaro that we had parted out for the LS swap. And we also have that engine support bar on the bottom that's pretty much used whenever we're doing oil pan gaskets. And now we've got a lot more E46 parts. Most of these are all E46. Yes, there's probably some other cars in some of the bins, but for the most part, all E46. We've got a little bit of a workstation right here. So this car I was using when I was making the exhaust on the LS swap car. So it's still got some of the stuff on there. And then there's some more tools on the bottom. Like a long pry bar, some AN hose cutters and stuff like that. We also have the welder right here with a bottle of gas on it as well. And just pretty much just a small welding cart. And we've got, this used to be a part shelf, but it actually is a 77 Datsun 280Z. I do have a video on it that introduces the car. That's pretty much all I've done to it since we brought it here. I actually bought this in 2013. And I've spent a lot more money moving it around from shop to shop than I have actually doing anything to it. But hopefully we do get some work done on it eventually. I do want to start like a new segment on the channel, like Project Car Friday or Project Car Saturday, where I can spend just that day working on my project car. Just take some time off from, you know, working on other people's stuff to get some stuff done on my own on my own cars and my own projects. And we actually have a customer car right here. It's an M3 that's got some Vanos issues that we're trying to figure out what's going on. And just figure that out and fix that. And now just looking back in this corner, just a lot more E46 stuff. We've got some M3 seats up there, which I want to get reupholstered and put in my car. We've got some Camaro suspension, a lot of brake calipers and stuff like that. All the plastic covers that are usually missing on most of the E46s. We actually have an active AutoWorks muffler for an E46 M3. That's also for sale if you're local in the Los Angeles area and want an active AutoWorks muffler for your M3, let me know. And we've got a couple of headliners that we've kept for spares whenever we decide to wrap one of those for one of our own cars. And then door panels, more plastics, some headlights, some M-Tech 1 bumpers up there, since those are becoming harder and harder to find. And more E46 interior parts and some Camaro stuff as well. And this is the handy dandy cart. This has all my tools that I use every day. As you can see, it's a mess. I was just trying to clean everything up, put everything on top of here. But yeah, I've got all my everyday tools, all my power tools that I use, like my impact, sockets, and all that. I also have some more lighting and stuff on the bottom, some sprays. So that's pretty much it as far as the shop tour goes. As you guys can see, I've acquired a lot of stuff in the past 2 years. We've got rid of a lot of stuff as well. But like I said in a lot of my other videos, you don't need a lot of stuff to start working on your car. You just need some basic hand tools, so basic socket sets, different screwdrivers. You can start working your way up, collecting more tools as you go. Some jobs will require more stuff, and that's a good time to buy it and just hang on to it because you never know when you might need it. But I started out with pretty much nothing and worked my way up to where I'm at right now. And I just buy tools as I need them. I don't try to keep anything in stock for too much. Obviously, I had to keep some stuff since I am working on other people's cars, so I like to keep some fluids and whatnot. But for the most part, if you're trying to start a shop or anything like that, you don't really have to have a lot of stuff. You can work your way up. You don't have to have like the baddest toolbox around. You don't have to have all of name brand, Snap-on, and all that tools and stuff. It's really not necessary. If you can get the job done with what you have, it's a great start. But obviously, sometimes some tools are required to make your productivity a lot better, and in that case, it's worth it to buy it. So like I said, like, you know, getting a second lift, it made my productivity, like, I was doing jobs twice as fast as I was before, so I can get more cars in and out of the door. So stuff like that, as you've made your time in the industry, you can go ahead and buy those kind of items and just, you know, work better and work faster. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to leave a comment down below or message me on Instagram at ShopLifeTV. If you guys want any of those items that I mentioned that I had for sale, also message me on Instagram and we can work a deal on something. But anyways, thanks for watching and stay tuned for more videos, and make sure you go check out the vlog channel and my girlfriend's channel at BMW Selena.